They don't like me, I'ma live my life anyway. I ain't fucking with her if she ain't watching anime. You know the finest women in the world, you know they cosplay. Pocket full of money, yeah, yeah. Man, I came to play, yeah, yeah. Drop top, yeah, yeah. Drop top, yeah, yeah. All summer, yeah, yeah. I won't stop, yeah, yeah. Beat going crazy, it's a whole box.
But okay, so who's the next number 3?
That's Jeffrey.
Oh, this is my pick.
I knew it. I knew it was Daniel.
Yeah.
I knew you was a big Daniel Bryan fan.
No, yes. I said Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, because again when y'all said pass, I was like, okay, well, like I'll do like early Bryan Danielson or like Bryan Danielson Ring of Honor, but
you sneaky devil.
Dude,
I see what you did there.
I
see what you did there.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I can't say Bryan Danielson because he's in AEW currently. So I was like, Bryan Danielson, like Ring of Honor, or like Daniel Bryan, yes movement. So yeah, dude. But Daniel Bryan for me was so when I got like back into like wrestling, like back into full swing of things was 2013. So 2013 SummerSlam was coming up. You had John Cena versus Daniel Bryan. So John Cena, I already knew like John Cena was a GOAT. So when I came back, it didn't surprise me that John Cena was champion. Because when I left wrestling, like he was champion still. But Daniel Bryan, and like you see him, and like the first thing you kind of realize was like, man, like he's big, but he's not like big. Like he's bigger than your average guy, but he's not huge. And then you're like, he's not tall, like he's not 6 foot. He kind of looks like 5'8", 5'10". So like for me, I was like, oh, like there's no way he's beating John Cena. Like this is like a buffer match. But the more I kept watching it, like I was like, oh, like he's like the guy now. Like they're kind of grooming him to be the guy. Like, oh, okay, cool. And then I was like, well, he's not beating John Cena. Beats John Cena. Then went on to eventually at the next year, WrestleMania 30, went on to become beat Batista and Randy Orton again, who are all big guys. And the reason why like I keep saying big is because like in wrestling, and Chris and Jay notice like being big wrestling fans, is usually like the really big, tall, muscly guys get the belts. Like they get all the wins. The smaller guys are usually guys who get beat up or guys who are like Kofi. Like they're really good in the ring. Everybody likes them. It's like, but we're not going to see them in the main event picture. So for Daniel Bryan, someone who's like 5'8", 200 something pounds, like to do it, like I found cool, and like the same way we can same way we can talk about like Kofi, how when Kofi Mania came along, he kind of just showed like a bunch of like black kids and like black guys like, hey, dude, like just because like there's not many of us doesn't mean that like it's impossible. Like if you are a black kid and you want to come to WWE and be a black world champion, like it's possible because you're seeing it right now. I feel like Daniel Bryan did that same to a bunch of people who maybe wanted to be a pro wrestler and be
I will put him on that same. I don't mean to cut you off, but I will put him in that same category where we started with Kurt Angle.
Oh yeah, and that's something else. And I can see why he's an honorable mention, because I kind of feel like sometimes at least wrestling fans now when they say Bryan Danielson, I think like they're trying to sound cool, like they're trying to be like, oh, like I'm such a wrestling expert, like Bryan Danielson, like top one, and like it can be like a little bit of a cop out. But I kind of thought he kind of just showed like you don't have to be the biggest person in wrestling, you don't have to be like the tallest and most muscular person, but like as long as like kind of keep working hard, you can get it. Then even when he retired because he was injured and then fought through his injuries and came back 2 years later, down on top of that too, like definitely was like, oh, like he's going to go down as like one of the greats. So I'll digress to that because I could talk about it all day, but those are probably my top 2 big things about Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson that I like.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan, I kind of feel like I appreciate, and this is it's kind of weird to say, but I appreciate Daniel Bryan more because of somebody like Kurt Angle, because I didn't really care about like technical wrestling at first, but because of Kurt Angle, I kind of understand more of like submission, grappling, and stuff like that. Daniel, especially now his current run with AEW, he's getting that time to be the American Dragon again, and it's allowing people, myself included, to see like, hey man, there ain't many people that can run with this dude, even when he's injured. And he's a testament to what WWE turns you into is not necessarily who you are as a performer. It's what they need you to be to fit their system. But if you put them in a system where, like, hey, I need you to be who you are, we'll just go around you. Somebody like a Daniel Bryan can be your world champion. They can be, and not only that, but like can be believable as a world champion. Because sometimes you'll have a smaller guy and you'll put the title on him, and it's like you ain't believable as a world champion. Because if I put you up against somebody like a Brock, I don't believe you finna go in there and beat Brock. But with Bryan Danielson, if you put Bryan Danielson in there with Brock Lesnar, Bryan might can make Brock tap out.
Right.
The man can. I mean, he can put you in a submission from here to from here to next Sunday. And so, yeah, I mean, him, staying the course and being one of those guys that was written off for a while because of his injury and came back, and we're getting to see the resurgence of arguably the best wrestler on the planet. It's a testament. It's definitely a testament to who he is as a performer, to stick it out and win championship gold at the highest level. I think in every major promotion aside from New Japan, I want to say.
So let me ask the question while we're on that subject of different promotions and stuff. It's kind of like a sidebar question. How do y'all feel about people like Braun Strowman and these other big names that the WWE had that are now going to other smaller brands to, I don't know if they're building the brands or, you know what I'm saying, like that the time that they had at WWE, because Braun Strowman was dude was lovable. The crowd loved him. Everybody liked to see him flipping over ambulances and doing all the strong stuff that he done. But then you have people like Drew McIntyre that came in around the Braun Strowman time and kind of stole that spotlight, I guess you could say, with the beefs that he was having and things like that with his return. So a lot of the big names that we knew and was getting used to ended up at these different brands. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the whole ECW thing that they did when you had hardcore Holly, Finley, and all them. They were doing it with the WWF and the WWE or the WCW brand. And then when the merge happened, these guys didn't merge over well, so they started ECW. So do y'all feel like the other brands are created for these people whose storylines are just not intact with what the movement is?
When you say brands, are you talking about like other promotions? Or are you talking about like
Yeah, I
actual
was about to
brands
ask,
within
like,
the
are you
WWE?
talking NXT, SmackDown, Raw? Or are you talking like Impact, AEW, Ring of
Yeah,
Honor?
yeah.
Oh,
Impact and all these other like smaller brands and that are coming out, and the superstars that we knew are going to these other brands. Because I think even Jim Ross owns one of them.
oh no, he
Um,
doesn't own, but he's in AEW as their head of commentator. But I will say, whenever it comes to, I always look at like the bigger aspect of things. I'm open to, like, I'm a big WWE fan, a big AEW fan, big Impact Wrestling fan, Ring of Honor, MLW. Big fan of all those promotions. So like the way I kind of look at it, if they don't fit into the WWE system, but they can fit and do well like in Impact, or they can fit well in AEW, then for me it's just like awesome, like cool. Like we now have more people to like in wrestling altogether. And then on top of that, I'm also just looking at that person as like someone who they want their job to be a pro wrestler. So like if you're maybe in WWE and you're not making as much money as you think you are, but you go to Impact and you're making more money than you ever, it's like, cool, like I'm happy for you. Like, like, cause you get to feed your family, you get to live out your dreams. So, I know like a lot of people will argue and say like, oh, like this company's only popular because they had this guy who came from WWE who was a top star there, but I kind of just don't think it matters at the end of the day. I kind of just feel like if they do a good job in their promotion, whatever's the promotion they started in or not, I just think like it's kind of more for us to eat as wrestling fans.
To kind of take it, well, to keep it interesting context, but also kind of take it out for a second. I'm always a fan of competition. I think competition breeds a better product. And like my key example is going to be something like a to get into gaming slightly with like a 2K or NBA 2K, where because that's been a dominant game of like in basketball forever, they got really complacent and really lazy and started really get used to with their fan base. If we had like half of those developers left over and went like to NBA Live or something like that, and that became a bigger thing, and now they have to, we can't just rest on our morals. We have to actually put in work to make sure that we're on top because we put in work to be on top, not just resting up because we're the only thing around. I felt like with the WWE in particular, because you have most of the bigger stars in the world when it comes to wrestling, they at least for at one point, well, that's part of the reason why I kind of left at one point. I feel like they got really complacent on the fact, we have the biggest stars. We don't really have to worry about too much competition from these other people, even if they're around, because we got all the bigger stars. So if you can get people that can carry brands on their own, and kind of to Chris and Jeffrey's point, where they can maybe not work in that system of the WWE, but be supremely them in something other system and bring attention there. All right, now the WWE has to actually put in work to make sure that they're writing these storylines out in a correct manner to keep people interested. Or if not, you can go over here to where there are familiar faces and wrestling just as good. So you gotta teeter that line, because right now you have the big allure over people because of the nostalgia and the brand recognition you have.
I mean, they're literally going as far as now you can go up to Pigeon Forge and see micro wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like that's a thing now. Like, and that's where I was kind of like, as a wrestling fanatic. Like, as y'all can tell, like I said, I've gone through every era of wrestling, and seeing some of the people that I don't believe not gonna say they didn't have a fair shot at the WWE, but people like the Great Khali, you know what I'm saying, and all these other names that we can probably compile a list of that are now going to different brands and different things or whatever. To see them go, and I don't know if it may have been like you said, you know what I'm saying, I'm getting a little bit over here, but if I go over here, I can make a lot more money. I can get a lot more ring time. I can get a lot, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not just a buffer match. Like, people are literally coming to see me now. I'm for that.
Of course.
And
I think
nowadays,
it's sports entertainment. Go ahead, Chris.
I was just gonna say, like, nowadays, like, I look at it like this. What do you have that the other people don't? And you look at like a WWE, they're a publicly traded company, right? They have shareholders and all these different things. So it's a lot more red tape you got to go through to be a major star in that bubble, because you have to be able to carry that company. So someone like a Cody Rhodes is perfect for that. Like, if you look at how he carries himself, you can put this guy in front of anything, and he gonna sell WWE. It's just easy, right? And outside of that, the only other thing that WWE has besides the brand is WrestleMania. So when you go to WWE, 9 times out of 10, your goal is to be on a WrestleMania card. Why? Because that's the Super Bowl. But when you look at when you are a performer, you're a wrestler, a Slammiversary is just as important for you. Bound for Glory is just important for you. Wrestle Kingdom is just important for you. Now you look at AEW Wrestle Dream, All In. I mean, who wouldn't want to wrestle in Wembley Stadium? You know what I mean, and put on that type of match. So
So so you're saying that it's basically like, I guess, any performer on, you know what I'm saying, whether you're a comedian, whether you are a rapper or whatever, Seems like everybody wants to get the Madison Square Garden.
I mean that is a point. I have a list of points
So
that can kind of go off of what the question you asked, but like I just feel like now, and to piggyback off of what Charlie said, like it's one of those things where WWE now, and with Triple H at the helm, is a lot of things are going to change. That's why a lot of these shows that used to be looked at as B shows are like way cooler now. But you know, we don't we're all like WWE is also okay with these relationships of saying, hey, we don't have anything for you right now. That's not to say we won't, but where you fall in the card, you're not in the main event. And we understand if you want to go somewhere and be in the main event, right? And then you look at the competition like AEW and what they've done with New Japan. That opens up a relationship to where I don't have to like you don't necessarily have to leave AEW and say fuck AEW to go to New Japan. You can still work both, but you signed to one. And now you see WWE doing the same thing with TNA. And so, excuse me, like it's creating this, but we've been wanting as wrestling fans forever, just a working relationship. I would love to see like in a New Japan style match. I want to see what Roman can do against Okada. You see what I'm saying? You want to be tribal chief? You the head of the table? You the top dog? Prove it around the world. But you can't say that because he's a WWE guy. You know what I mean? It doesn't have that same thing. And so seeing guys like Dolph Ziggler or Nick Nemeth go over to TNA, you know because of who he was and how damn good he is in WWE, oh, he's gonna be a world champion in TNA. It's gonna put more eyeballs on the product that is TNA, especially with their new rebrand. But what does that do for all the talent around them? Like this guy has been on WrestleMania. He's been world champion a couple times. Now it's going to raise everybody else up around you and create better wrestlers there as well. Same thing with MLW. Same thing with AAA. And all like when Vikingo went to AEW when he gets Kenny Omega, AAA skyrocketed. Everybody's like, okay, well, this is who this guy is. What is you know what I'm saying? So it forces people to look all these different products, but it creates a new generation of wrestling fans to where we're not just WWE fans, we are wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a more I don't like the whole tribalism that comes with professional wrestling. Like just be a wrestling fan and call it a day. It doesn't matter like what arena we're in. But you know, who wouldn't want to see some of the best wrestlers from around the world who aren't necessarily WWE do something on WrestleMania? What if Okada Omega was at WrestleMania instead of Wrestle Kingdom? Well, how would that look? How would that flow? What would that look like? So those questions can be answered. So I'm excited about seeing all these different people go to these different brands because one, it's funny to me to always hear the commentators stutter when they try to not call them by their their main names. Like hearing somebody call Edge Adam Copeland is still just he's Edge, bro. Like he has the exact same music, exact same presentation and everything. He's just Adam Copeland now. And you know some people are gonna like screw up like Adam Copeland. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's saying like this new version of like who this person is, not necessarily who someone created them to be. Like Mercedes Monet, how was she different from
Big
Sasha
point.
Banks? So yeah, like I said, I'm excited to see how this stuff is going. I think we can really credit AEW for what they did with Forbidden Door to like smack people around and be like, hey, WWE, y'all like the only billion-dollar company in here no more. So what you gonna do?
Okay. Pin this one because this one's getting into the conversation I want to have with you guys on a different show for the present. I'm gonna get into the finishers because the finishers I think are going to go faster than the actual match conversation.
Yeah.
So I want to run the finishers. I'm gonna just do everybody's top 3 finishers, and you talk about them in whichever order you feel. And I'm gonna start with Charlie's, and we've got this one.
Yeah,
Of course.
you already know this one. You already know
That matches with your number one though.
And
you
then
already know
we
what it is.
have this one.
RKO. That's the most versatile finishing
that's
move
goated.
I think that ever existed in WWE.
That's
You
goated.
get that
And
bitch off
then-
anything.
His last one is this one.
Yeah,
Well, get your
that-
stupid ass.
You felt that. You felt that shit every time, boy.
That Batista ball go crazy.
I seen him do that shit in Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, oh yeah, all right.
Yeah, you feel that, bro. Whew, your spine.
The sit out
spine
too.
can be
Oh man.
So like
But
However
yeah,
you wanna
that
play
those-
that.
breakdown or
Yeah, 619 is just iconic. I don't think there's too many more iconic moves. Like it's the moment somebody's in that mid rope, you already know what it is, right? RKO, same thing when it comes to iconic, but it's such a versatile move. Like I said before, it can literally come out of nowhere, no pun intended. Like you could be laying down on a rope in a chair, pop up, it's over with. And then the Batista bomb, I almost chose a spear, almost because of versatility as well. But you felt that shit every time he hit it. The impact was crazy on the Batista bomb. And that night, that's not even counting like when he was sitting out on him. He was sitting out on him. I'm like, okay, you committed murder just now.
I think I would say that in terms of the RKO, my favorite one is his name Evan Bourne.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Matt
Like
Sydal.
the one that Randy did on Evan when he was on the ground and he just pops up.
They told them
Mid-flip
backstage,
is-
don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. We're gonna do this.
Mid
love
flip.
Randy
That's
so
always been
much,
my
bro.
favorite. That's always been my favorite one. Mid flip. I'm like, yep, that's the one. That's the one.
I'm not gonna lie.
What you
though.
brought the
That's
one with
Seth
the curb
Rollins.
stomp with the Seth Rollins one?
That's Seth Rollins,
brought up
boy.
that one.
That was
Mhm.
That
Now
was
the
probably
Houston?
the most famous one.
I don't think there's like a more iconic move to where like everybody everywhere, like it became a meme where like you just RKOing people randomly, like in the pools, at school,
It's
on
definitely
the
probably the
trampoline.
most popular finisher. Yeah, 100%.
if I'm
Everybody
John
knows. They may not
Laurinaitis,
know wrestling, but everybody knows what an RKO is.
Mm-hmm.
if I'm John Laurinaitis, I'm telling Randy to send me a check every single time every time you do that move, because I invented that. That is a cutter. I invented that move. I need you to pay me.
I was wondering
You know
where
what I'm saying?
I saw somebody in a post about that, arguing about that, and I think one guy's argument for it was that Randy's a little bit more athletic because he's like,
He jumps into
No,
it.
true,
You know,
yeah.
like it's kind of, he goes from a cutter then to the diamond cutter, and then the RKO is obviously the most.
also he just
Yeah.
has like a certain swagger to it as well that the cutter
Yeah.
like DDP was smooth with the diamond cutter, but there were plenty other great diamond cutters that he did, but none of them compared to like the RKO and how Randy Orton would do it. Like when he was like the Viper, the mannerisms on his face.
Yes.
When he would hit one, like he had like evil intentions with it.
And
Him
he
like
did
hitting the one with Evan Bourne out of nowhere, then going
Oh my
crazy
gosh.
because
and
that's
for
where
me,
I feel like
Hey,
makes it much
Jim
different.
Ross, good old JR. That man, the commentating that he did for the RKO,
mm-hmm.
or even like with the spear, you know what I'm saying? He made you feel it through the TV.
They cut him smack dab in half.
And on
Yeah,
top of
it's like you cut him in half. You know, like you can't.
Oh God! There you go.
to build on that too, I think part of what made those finishes great was the signature moves leading up to that shit. So like with the RKO, you're gonna get that springboard splash, you're gonna get a hurricanrana into it. Like as soon as you seen those setup signature moves coming, you knew it was coming. Like the 619 was on the way. If you see those drop kicks happen or the fucking the clothesline, you know the RKO. It's like you're just waiting for that finishing move. That's what made it a finisher. I think it's part of what like you got to your guys' point as far as like some wrestlers not having finishes anymore. Part of that to me could be like the buildup. I don't think there's a buildup to a finisher anymore. It's kind of like bring it out of nowhere. If you added in like a signature move here and there, like to make it your own and build up to it, like a combo piece, I think that would like make him a little bit more impactful going forward.
I will say one thing with Randy's is like as a wrestling fan, whenever you hear like, okay, it's going to be Randy Orton versus like AJ Styles, you're like, oh man, like
You
the
know
RKO,
one is
like,
coming.
that phenomenal forearm is going to hit so clean, or you're just like, oh yeah, like is this wrestler his finisher is you know, 450 flash, you're like, oh man, the RKO into that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You're like, oh man,
that's
like
crazy.
guy's finisher, it's like a jumping headbutt. You're like, too easy.
Yeah, like if y'all watch the Royal Rumble, when Randy was doing all of his RKOs,
Mhm.
when Roman goes for
For the
that
Superman
Superman
punch.
punch,
Yeah, and Randy just
Oh
and he
man.
just
gotcha.
that was one of the clean. Because I knew it was coming, but I'm like, okay, well, if Roman's off camera, he's done it out of a spear before, so that's not gonna. And I'm like, a Superman punch? And as soon as I say that, you should see Roman stick his hand in the camera.
I remember when like he just there's so much you could do with that move where you think like, oh nah, like he's done all he can do with that move, like out of nowhere. You're just like, nah, like you know, I don't know, man.
He
I
pushed the
definitely feel like
man
that
off his
shows like how
shoulder.
good
Yeah.
Randy Orton is.
He was like the anti-high flyer, bro. All my favorite high flyers that wrestle Randy, I'd be like, yeah, get that nigga. You got him.
Even
He
Ray,
caught
Off the
Ray.
top rope, Randy's like,
He
no,
caught
you got this.
Ray. When Ray was jumping onto the top rope, Randy slid under him, and it was timed
I remember
perfectly.
I
That hurt
remember
my
that.
feelings.
Yeah.
Randy
That was
slid
Ray
in, and
against
as
him,
soon
like,
as
yeah.
Ray jumped, he stood
That-
up,
bruh,
made that
no, yeah.
face,
I
and
was so
left the
hurt.
ring.
No, the facial reaction after he did it, when he hit it,
He
he
just-
just looked at Ray like idiot.
I was so
Outside
hurt.
the ring, no.
Do y'all
So, yeah,
ever
Ray-
think he
Ray
amazes
goated.
himself?
Huh?
Do you think he like when he hits it on something crazy, like when he first hit it out the spear, or he catch somebody jumping off the top rope?
Oh yeah.
Do you think after the match he be like, man, that shit was crazy?
Oh yeah, I don't think after the match he does it. I think during the match, like if you
During
go
the match,
when he
yeah.
did it against
Seth
Seth, he was
Rollins, and he admitted,
like he forgot
he
to
did it
pin
with
him.
Seth. Yeah, he did it with Seth when he
He
hit
did it
it
with
on
Seth.
Seth at WrestleMania with the curve stomp. You see Randy Orton going like, yes, fuck yes, fuck. Like you see him like getting excited, and you
And
just
then
see
he
I
pins
got
him.
this shit.
Randy pin him, bro. Like pin him. Like we got 10 seconds left. Like pin
When
his
he
ass.
did that
Like,
toe
oh, shit,
touch
yeah, like
after he
pin.
RKO'd Mark Henry
Oh
out of a
man.
gorilla
He
press
does-
and just hit him and then just toe touch. Like, bro,
That's
this
what makes
dude has the best swagger I have ever seen out of a because he knows how popular his finisher is. It's not like a Stone Cold Stunner where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna flip you off. Blah, blah, blah. No, Randy's like, I'm gonna talk shit. I'm gonna talk heavy shit.
He used to
100%.
beat up on Ray so bad, and he used to hurt my feelings. Like I like Randy, but I'm like, damn, you beating up on my guy, bro. You can't be doing that to Ray, bro.
Get him,
Chill out on Ray,
He got the
man.
Hangman DDT.
Oh my god, I was so hurt.
We can even talk about if Jeff Hardy was on your list. We can even talk about the twist of fate into the RKO. That was another.
Ain't
He
that
did
bad,
that.
That was
Yeah,
another one.
he did
Yeah.
that.
That was another.
Yeah.
You gotta look it up, Trey. That was another clean one, dude.
Which had to be timed perfectly because it like if you don't hit that correctly, it looks like a neck breaker. Because if Jeff
Right.
doesn't spin around in time, it just turns into a neck breaker. But like them, boom, 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 then he catches it.
Doing a
Come on,
full
bro.
rotation and then RKO with it. Yeah.
I wonder if you could catch him on like a swanton bomb for real. I don't know if it's
You lay on your
possible.
back,
I
so
feel
know
like
how
he
that
would.
how that
I
work.
feel like he
Yeah,
would
same.
probably be crazy enough to try.
That'd be crazy.
If you break it down to where he could do it, I don't know if he could do it now because he done got so damn heavy. But if you like broke it down to him and he was like, or just because how Randy is, if someone backstage came up and said, "Hey, listen, I know what you're thinking. Don't do it." Oh, we're doing it. Oh, we're fucking doing it.
You're right.
We are
Exactly.
definitely doing it.
All right. The
All right.
next set is from Chris. We have.
I
All right, Chris.
ain't mad
All
at
right.
it.
Stupid ass in the herb, please.
Stupid ass little boy.
And then we have Razor's Edge.
Ooh, another good one.
Crucify your dumb ass.
And then your other one was also the RKO. I just wanted to watch it again.
Yes.
I can watch that all day. I can watch arcades all day, bro.
So it was difficult for me to come up with this. I had the clothesline from hell on here.
You did. You changed.
Clothesline from hell is one of them things like bitch. But that last ride is probably the most fucked up finisher that you could do. Let me explain. The Batista bomb, cool, because I'm gonna get you up. I'm gonna sit. It's a sit down power bomb. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we've seen it. It hurts no matter who's doing it. The last ride is I'm gonna pick you up like a power bomb. Now you 6 feet. Now you about 7 feet in the air, right?
Yeah.
You probably gonna kick out. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody done took one of these. Nah, fuck that. Like he just hey, he put you 8 feet in the air. And when he did it one time against Nunzio, and he had him up and he walked around the ring with him like that. And then he just straight arm, like he never bends his arm to add force. He just straight arm, Goku spirit bomb, bling you into the mat. When I first saw that, I'm like, there's no way you get enough from that. The sheer force alone, the name Last Ride is perfect. How? So yeah, when I first saw that, I was like, yeah, that's got to be the most messed up finisher. Because I'm looking at it like, if I'm a wrestler and I'm already going up for a power bomb, whoop, and wait a minute, I'm extra high. So if you Rey Mysterio, imagine how he feels.
Oh my god.
Oh man, why
he extra high. He might as well jump off a ladder.
Oh my god.
He might as well just take a back bump just flat off a ladder. So yeah, there's that.
Bro, there was a time where they were just power bombing that boy Ray through everything. I'm like, bro, chill out. Oh my nigga, Ray.
Big Show had that man on a gurney up against the ring post. I'm like,
God. I remember that. Yeah.
I forget what match it was.
So, hey, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say,
damn.
Your phone's breaking up.
You break it up,
my boy. While he's getting that together, there is that.
I can't actually mute him either.
Yeah, that nigga Ray. I don't know if it was an official match, but I remember there being like a moment where this nigga Ray was fighting like all the super heavyweights for like in the ring with him. It was like Khali, Mark Henry. I think Big Show.
I know what you're talking about. That was an edit. That was an edit, bro.
That was an edit? Okay. I was like, bro, why y'all doing this to my man, bro?
Like
he can take out one of them, maybe two of them, but y'all got him out here dealing with dudes that are like,
I know what you're talking. That was an edit.
Okay, thank God, bro.
And so I chose the Razor's Edge because, again, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of like, RIP. If I'm taking the move, right? Mm-hmm. So if I am getting flip hoisted over somebody's shoulders, I'm like, okay, I'm here. But then the freedom or the security of possibly catching myself or absorbing the fall with my arms in any kind of way is gone. And now I'm just up in Jesus mode over somebody's head, and Scott is not small. Right? So I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big guy at all. So if he got me up like this, again, spirit bomb, and I'm just up here, it kind of reminds me of the border toss. I don't know if y'all remember who Hernandez is. He would throw you. At least with Scott, he would just kind of like lay you down. No, you can throw with the border toss. And so it all came from the Razor's Edge. So you sitting there like this, and if you don't tuck your chin, it's automatic concussion because you basically power driving yourself onto the back of your head. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, that move in that era, I don't recall anybody that was doing anything like that. Everything was kind of like, it was more powerful versions of regular moves. Like that was during the era of like when wrestling was still, might be a hot take, a little bit boring. It was kind of going more into like the entertainment, but it was still very gimmicky and Don't the Clown, you had stuff like that still going on, but then you started getting people like Razor Ramon and Shawn and Hunter when he was starting to come in. It's like it's starting to get more polished. So yeah, like that was a move that was like, yo, during that time you took that move,
you were out.
Especially if he got mad and like kind of gave it an extra push when he went down. Yeah, bro, you gonna hit the rope. You gonna hit the turnbuckle.
So what's the finisher you would not want, like the most one you would not want to take at all?
Out of like the ones you pick, which one would you not take?
Oh, I was going to say out of all of wrestling. Oh God, out of the ones,
all the legal ones. We already know there's like the power driver and shit. That's like
out of the ones that you have, which one?
Right.
Which the one I don't want to take?
Yeah, like the one that you
the
think
last ride.
Like, no. Yeah,
that's right, bro. I am 5'10". That man is a whole foot taller than me, and then he sticks me another 2 feet in the air. I am falling from 8 feet in the air with force. I'm not. First of all, I'm not gonna be one of them heroes like Shawn and kick out just to have a nice mirror fall. You won. You got me, big dog.
You got that right. You, got that.
you put me in that position, and I don't get out, and you hit me with it. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all going home because I'm not kicking out. No,
because also you be seeing the wrestlers like they'll take moves like that and be laying around, and niggas be thinking they're acting like no, he's like in pain right now.
Like that's the thing about selling. Like selling is when it's not your time in the match to rest, but now you have to like showcase the pain of it. It's real.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I get kicked in the face by Sheamus, it's going.
Oh my
that's
God.
not fake. That bro kick is. You know what I'm saying? If I get chopped by Gunter, I don't have to sell that. If you look at my chest and my heart's not beating, you understand that this hurts. You see what I'm saying?
Never in my life will I ever want to take a fucking spear by Goldberg, boy. The way that you Goldberg used to fucking blast you with them spears. I'm like, I don't want that shit ever in my life.
You're okay. So you have to take a spear. You have to take it by one of these 3 people.
Oh God.
Ignore that. Nothing.
Yeah. So
I know what it was, but it's all.
You got to take one by Goldberg.
Okay.
Rhino. Or a newer guy, Braun Breaker. You got to take. You got to take a spear.
Right?
Huh?
Give me. That's
so Rhino or Ryback?
No, Rhino. The Gore.
Yeah.
Rhino. The Gore. That
you have to take one.
Real quick. Are we talking Rhino now or Rhino Prime ECW?
We're talking about Prime ECW.
God damn. Yeah. All right. Out of all this, I'm probably just gonna have to take Braun Breakers
at your size, not as a wrestler size.
No, I'm 240 at 5'8.5". So like I'm probably just gonna say Braun Breaker.
You gonna live?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Braun Break. I got muscle on me, but that arguably the Gore. I would rather take Goldberg spear than the Gore from Rhino because Rhino just looked like he did not give a damn about your well being. It's like, hey man, like I'm a spear you. If you live, you live. Like if you don't, you don't. But
Rhino is a wide, thick motherfucker, and all of his power comes from his legs.
Exactly,
his legs are the size of back screens. They are crazy.
Wrestling in high school, I've gone against some country cornbread fed motherfuckers that have. You don't spear, but there's a move called a blast double, to where you essentially, at least the way I would set it up, you would blast through. I took one of those from one of the biggest motherfuckers from what was he from? Locust Grove, Georgia. When I tell you all the air in my lungs left my body. So I'm imagining not get picked up out of that, but like he's blasting through me full speed. I have to go with Braun. I ain't gonna hold you because Goldberg, he was folding you like a lawn chair, bro. He was
folding. Wait a minute, do you know who Braun Breaker is? Have you seen him?
I've seen him wrestle before. Like I've seen clips of him.
Okay.
I've seen like whole matches, but I've seen because I have random stints where, like I'll go through and watch like compilations of like certain finishers. And I saw one on YouTube. It was like the worst spears that ever. It was like spears, RKOs, whatever else. And I just I seen a million Goldbergs, and I've seen a couple Brauns. Braun, it was hard, but that Goldberg spear was fucking crazy to me. I ain't gonna hold you because he's that big, flying at you that fast. I was like,
yeah. If I'm gonna take one, it's gonna be Braun too. Goldberg. Only reason why is because Goldberg didn't have wrestling training, so for him it was real.
Right.
I'm really trying to tackle you like I'm in the NFL. And then Rhino never wanted to use the spear as a finisher in the first place, and his spear is so strong they changed the name of it. Hell no. No,
They put me in a match. I'm like, yeah, you're not getting a finisher off of me. I'm a ring out. Fuck that.
like Rhino is built like an actual rhinoceros. I'm not getting hit by that. No.
Nah, bro.
I'm gonna do a Brett move and put on some body armor underneath my shirt.
Man,
Give your ass a
you
concussion.
have to knock yourself out, big dog.
Putting the shield, boy. Putting the vest on again.
Get out, bro. You ain't getting mine.
But continue.
The next set is from Dez. And we're just gonna go in order. This I have to share it like this.
Oh my god!
Dr. Death, Steve Williams, backdrop driver, dude.
Look at his neck.
Wait.
So,
is this WWF?
No, this is AJPW, All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Mhm.
Oh, this didn't have to be WWE.
She never said so.
I didn't.
I realized. But dude,
bro, his neck is done.
Dr. Death, dude, had one of the best. All right, go to the next.
This one.
Wait. Can you go back real quick?
Bro, my neck hurts.
Look at dude's legs. He looked little as hell from the bottom.
That don't matter.
No, it don't. He just looks stupid. Look. No, he wide.
He's literally on a pendulum. Like his upper body is swinging all the way. I wish he found
the one when he does the suplex on the turnbuckle, where he throws the guy where his head hits the turnbuckle, and he's so suplex.
Yeah, I was looking for a while.
Yeah, that one was rough.
How is he not paralyzed?
Is that Bradshaw?
No. This is Stan Hansen. So this is where Bradshaw.
Oh yeah, Stan Hansen. That Larry. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. The Stan Hansen Larry is
crazy.
These niggas are just fighting. They're not wrestling. They're literally fighting right now.
In Japan, it was real.
This is all Japan. This is Japan in the 90s, dude. Japan in the 90s.
Yeah, Stan Hansen is where Bradshaw got his clothesline.
Is that the same dude that took both the bumps?
Yeah, but this is a different match, obviously, bro.
And then
he's a vet,
the
bro.
last one
He's a soldier.
Yeah, this is the last one.
Oh yeah, this should start my feelings.
Last one was a cattle mutilation by
cattle mutilation.
That was incredibly painful on my back. So.
Oh my, bro, I can't.
So with the backdrop drivers, so I got into like when I first started, kind of like most people, I was just purely like a WWE fan, and I started hearing people talk about like All Japan and everything, and then I came across that backdrop driver from Dr. Death, which was the first one, which front and neck, and like. Kind of like how Chris was talking about, like he picked the Razor's Edge and Last Ride as like moves where it's like, yeah, you're not kicking out of this, like from a real life perspective. Like if someone hits this move on you and you're a normal person, you're not kicking out. That's kind of what I thought with like the backdrop. You just get and just landing on your upper back on your neck. Like I don't see you just, kicking out at one. I kind of see that being the move that does you in.
It's a fracture, bro.
And with the second one, which was the Stan Hansen lariat, Stan Hansen does on top of that, like he's already like a big guy. He's like a corn-fed guy. Like he's not a guy who's worried about having abs. He's just hey, I'm a whoop your ass, and I'm gonna take this check, and I'm gonna go home and like just relax. So like him just hitting you with a lariat, where like the clothesline.
I fear dudes like that more than I do a fairly dude like a Bobby Lashley, who's like 1% body fat.
And like
those be the strongest dudes, where you just all muscle converted by all that, bro.
Yeah, like everybody always likes to talk about like, oh man, this person has like big arms, like The Rock. He's a big arm. Just like nah, dude, because like at the end of the day, like you might have a shot with The Rock, like fine, but like you get that one dude who's just corn fed, who's just chewing dip, who don't care about his appearance, who don't
prime Mark Henry.
Yeah. Like, those are the guys like I'm talking Charlie in 2018 when he did amateur wrestling. That was a big boy, like dude. No, this is a compliment. Like that was like like I was working out to look pretty. You were just big just to throw guys around. Like
I was like 290 something.
Stan Hansen with the lariat, where pretty much instead of it going across your chest, it was going across your neck. That one was good. And then for Daniel Bryan with this cattle mutilation, that was this I love seeing him. Say it again.
Was that ever his finisher?
Yeah,
it was a finisher that was not allowed in the WWE. Apparently, it's listed as something not allowed in the WWE.
But when that was his finisher in Ring of Honor. So like he beat Samoa Joe with that finisher. But I just always like, because how he would set it up was the person would like throw a punch and he would just like grab the guy's arm and kind of like just put him in a butterfly and wrestle him down. And then you would hear like the crowd waiting for it. And then when he would flip forward, you pretty much knew it was a wrap because you knew like that guy was getting out of it.
The only way to get out of that is to turn over.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn
Like,
all
and
this
that's
weight
the day,
around.
like most people ain't strong when it comes like to this part of their body. Like people are usually kind of like you said, like lower half heavy, or they're strong there, or like they're strong like in their arm. But like when you're in a position like that, you can bench press 500 pounds. Like you ain't just going to be able to just flex your way out.
You ain't supposed to be able to move a grown man like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what did too. Like imagine like your homeboy gets into a fight and you come home and tell his girlfriend like, oh, like how did my boyfriend lose? Like, did he get punched really hard? Did he get kicked? You're like, nah, like this dude just grabbed him, put him in a butterfly and just put him on the ground and flipped over him and just like broke his arms. Like
I'd rather get knocked out than
I would like to tell that story more.
Right. I'm here to, but at that point, if that ever happened to me and like Charlie was around, to be like, hey, bro, just lie. Like, just say that he punched me. Like, just say, don't say that he grabbed my big ass and wrestled me to the ground on asphalt.
Bro,
I want you to tell, like, no, I want you to tell. That's a much cooler story because if you just say, oh, yeah, he just got pulled. Hold on. Yeah, no, he just got knocked out with a. Listen.
No one decides what a cool story is for me.
Wait, hold on. I'm just saying. If you get, oh yeah, he just got knocked out by like any other regular person. Yeah,
I'll be a regular person than that one dumbass nigga who got wrestled to the ground and fucking put in a chicken lock.
I mean, if you, hey, bro, like this is the era of MMA. Everybody, like, you might go and get some cats.
Quick story time. So there was a guy.
I'd rather have that too, because
and I get what you mean. Like, it's a more unique story than just getting punched. Like, it makes it look like, oh no, this guy had to dig in his pocket for you.
You don't look like no bitch for real. Like, he like, oh, he had to plot the special move on me.
Something like that has happened to me in real life.
I ain't no wrestling.
No, so something like that has happened to me in real life almost. So this is when. So this was 2019. I was in the Army. I was stationed. 2020.
Okay.
In the Army, stationed in Arizona. There was a guy named Stookie, right? Now, at that, like, I'm a big guy. Kind of always been a big guy. But at that point, I was like about 180. Stookie was like 150, skinny, soaking wet. And I remember I just started wrestling with Stookie. Stookie did jiu-jitsu. Had no idea about this. And this is going to be embarrassing on my part, but it's a funny story looking back at it. So while we wrestling the first time, Stookie grabs me in a leg lock. And I remember just being like, man, what he about to do? Then my leg just started hurting. That's all I remember. And I just quickly backed down. And I was like, oh, man, you got that. I wanted payback, Chris. I wanted payback. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go in his room and like, I'm just going to start wrestling him. Like, I'm going to show him like I'm the bigger guy. I start wrestling Stookie. Stookie eventually grabs my arm and gets me like in an arm lock. I'm like, this ain't nothing. I got brothers. Brought up Stookie like this, right? Like, just getting ready to powerbomb him on the bed. All Stookie did was this, like this around my neck. Like, didn't choke me, didn't do this, did this. And I just remember being like, man, what the hell is he? It was over. And that's when I was like, damn, dude. So like, he was like, oh, no, man, like, you're a good fighter. Like, if only you did jiu-jitsu. And I'm just remember just being embarrassed because, like, this dude who's, like, 40 pounds less than me, like, this literally took me out no problem.
I see
why you never told me that story.
I mean, you didn't get beat by a person.
You beat me, but I just remember
you didn't get beat by a person that just, like, threw a punch and, like, got lucky. You had to get beat by somebody who, like, no, like, I know how to, like, stop you, because if I don't stop you, you're gonna, like, hurt me. So I'm like, yeah, like, this showcase is like, yeah, like, you had to wrestle me to the ground, big dog, because if it was hands on hands.
Dude. That ain't the first time my ass has been got, dude.
he the type, and growing up, this nigga just wants to wrestle you. And when he found out I was wrestling in high school, anytime we were at any kind of gym, he want to play wrestle. I'm like, bro, I'm tired. I just want to do this shit.
Chris,
come on, man.
That's how I go.
Yeah, you want to pick me up so bad. I'm like, bro, chill, bro.
I had a country bumpkin house, man, where we just wrestled for fun. That's why my mom didn't like me getting into wrestling, because she thought I was going to be going to school and hitting niggas with power drivers and shit.
She was right. Shit.
Dude, I'm telling you, because my mom knew I loved this wrestling for fun. So my mom didn't. And then I think she didn't know I knew it wasn't. She didn't know that I knew it was scripted. And I was like, Mom, like, I know, like, you can't just go hit somebody with like an RKO in public. Like, you'll go to jail. And then that's when my mom started letting me watch it.
I mean, RKO, you'll
When
be
you
fine.
could.
Chris, walk out of your house and have a
shouldn't.
random nigga hit you with an RKO. Tell me how you
You
react.
could, but
I'm
you
fine.
shouldn't.
I'm not gonna call. I'm going to fight you.
But there's consequences, bro.
All right.
Yo, 100%.
Shouldn't.
That used to hurt my
But
fucking
when she
nerves.
said finishers and she didn't say it had
First
to
of
be
all, if you're a stranger at my
finishers,
house,
I
it's
already
gonna be
knew.
problems.
I already knew where I had to go. And I was waiting for you guys' reaction. I was like, I can't wait till y'all see that backdrop. I can't wait.
Yeah,
My
that
neck
was,
These
hurts, man.
that was
are
nuts.
Maurice's finishers. Hold on.
All right.
Let me add it to the stage.
It'd be all sweet super kicks.
They better not be trapped.
There's that one.
It's gonna be his super kick,
Hey.
like the spear. I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
guessing
fired.
the
Okay.
spear.
And
He's a
this
Shawn
one.
Michaels
The
fan. boy.
score. Oh,
The spine buster. There ain't no way your favorite. Well, no, I ain't gonna say that.
no, I
I ain't
mean,
gonna say Kane.
Rhino had a good spine buster. I just think there were
I think
plenty
that was
more.
a
Like
finisher.
Arn Anderson's spine buster, I think was like a better one.
I
Oh,
would
yeah, the
probably
double
pick
A
like a
for sure.
Yeah,
I would
double
probably
A.
pick a Samoa
Yeah,
drop
that
over
double A.
Shawn
That,
Michaels.
I just he didn't say, listen, I told y'all.
No, we gonna
He
blame
very
you 'cause you
much
the host.
just
We gonna blame you.
generalized the
He a
things.
co-host though.
And I said,
host.
listen, like
No, but
I don't know.
oh, yo, Chris, also
He ain't
shout
say
out to
who.
that rock shirt you wearing, dude. I just realized that.
You
Say
talked
what?
about it earlier.
Shout out to that rock shirt you wearing. I just realized that.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
man.
gonna need you to
Yeah.
replace that with a Cody shirt though. On for real. Like
I
on
agree.
that.
I got my
Hey.
Cody hoodie upstairs, and I was trying to figure out which one I should wear. But I'm like, since we doing old people, I'm gonna throw on the nostalgic.
I
And
didn't
I
want
definitely had to clear it up that I ain't fucking with the Rock right now. He pissed me off.
But
I
y'all
was
can
gonna
talk
wear my
about the rest
AJ
of
Styles
these.
shirt, but I couldn't find it, and I was gonna be late. But that was gonna be my shirt I was gonna wear.
Is that
All
mine?
right.
Oh, here's mine that I'm gonna go quickly.
All right.
Oh,
Mine
booty
is
bumps.
Yours. Oh, you got Tombstone.
Yes.
Thought you gonna pick a
And
booty
then-
bump.
Right there.
This one.
Scott Hall was great.
Oh my
One of
god,
the best
bro.
sales.
They stole those thunders crazy.
And then I had to get
Oh,
AJ Lee in
AJ
here
Lee.
for the
AJ
Black
Lee.
Widow.
Black
Oh, the
Widow.
Black
I
Widow.
used to have
Yeah.
the biggest crush on her crazy ass
That's
boy.
my
I ain't gonna
girl.
hold you.
Everybody
and then these
did.
two are from Jermichael. Or Jay, I'm
She-
sorry.
Hey, Torture Rack.
Torture Rack.
Torture
Oh my
Rack
God.
and
That's a good
So
one.
fucked up. Mr.
Yep, man. Mandible Claw.
If a
Mr.
nigga
Socko.
ever in his life puts his sock hand in my mouth, I want
Bruh,
biting that
if-
shit
if a
off.
dude,
Chris,
if I'm
you know
finna
what
fight
makes
you
it
and
worse
you
for
ever
Charlie?
pull a sock out your drawers,
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like, he pulls it out of his drawers and then puts it on his hand.
Ain't no fucking way.
that sock not gonna make it to your hand. I don't watch wrestling too much. I know where this is going.
Vince McMahon was a sick old boy to take that shit. You watch him pull a sock out his
For
drawers.
multiple
Yeah.
reasons, but we ain't gonna get into
It's
that.
a sick old
We
boy.
next time
Allegedly.
we're talking about that one, right?
Allegedly.
You freaky fucking fraud.
How about say, Chris? We can't hop into that terrain, dude.
Yeah, no, that's
The
an
video get shut down
episode
so
that
fast.
My
man,
nigga.
what?
So fast.
I can't believe he said that. I still can't believe it. And walked by Booker T. I'm like,
That had to have been not scripted because Booker T looked at him like, "Ooh, I want to knock your ass out right now." Pull out TV.
Booker T actually said he knew about it, but he said he was just like, "You're the boss. Like, if you think this is a wise idea, like,
that's some.
go ahead."
I ain't gonna get into that. I ain't
I'm
gonna
not
get
going
into
to get
that.
into it either. I know there's probably more under the surface. I agree.
That nigga, he had John
Hello.
Cena with the belt with a spinning rim in the middle of it, bro. Come on now.
Oh, bruh, Eddie Guerrero's music was "I lie, cheat, and steal," and it said,
Actually,
"You
yeah.
can trust me, essay, because I'm Latin."
Don't
Bro.
forget the Mexican tag team riding down in tractors.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep.
And then he told
Latino
Carlito,
heat,
he told
bro.
Carlito backstage if he could pick up his promo. I did not say that's what he said.
Pick
Yeah.
up his promo.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Carlito said he had a backstage
Absolutely
meeting
fucking
with
insane.
Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon was like, "Hey man, like I like your character, but do you think you could pick it up?" And Carlito was like, "I never looked at somebody so angrily." But yeah,
When
that's like,
this nigga had R-Truth come out in just some fucking dope boy Atlanta jeans, nigga, some Chico jeans.
well, no,
And some sneakers,
Ron
boy.
Killings.
Prime time.
That's how Ron Killings was. Go back and watch NWA TNA. He was wearing jeans and wrestling.
Why?
Crime time.
Oh,
Prime time.
Crime
Prime
time.
time.
Crazy.
Prime time. Crime Time. Yes, I remember that too. Yes, I can't.
That's why I see Kofi now
coming out wearing bulletproof vests and having bullet holes on their jeans, dude.
Yes,
that was crazy.
Yes. Listen, I saw something because somebody actually brought up Crime Time in a completely different nerd group that I was in, and they were like, "I can't believe y'all let this go on during Black History Month. What did you want me to do? What did you want
That's
us
not how
to
this
do?
works.
Not my company, dude.
I don't own these people. What do you want?
This nigga was just legit pimping out these divas, boy. These divas just coming out there.
We had no. So I was like, you sitting there talking about Crime Time, and they have my girls out here doing bras and panties matches. So what did you want me to do?
Bruh.
In hindsight, I
pimping them
believe
divas out.
And this may be monetized. I don't know how this works on YouTube, but I believe he did everything they said he did.
He did. He did.
Because all the stuff that all this stuff that he has done with WWE.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got the text message is very clear.
When I heard the letters, BBC in that text or the words, I was like, "Yep, he did that shit."
I don't know so much about Charlie Kaori, but like with Chris being like deep into like wrestling, which I do. When we heard like all the allegations, like we felt like everybody else was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is terrible." But us being wrestling fans, like seeing the Vince McMahon character on screen, we're like, that would explain a lot. Like that explains a lot.
As soon as I
saw it, they say the best characters are just a version of yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
As soon as I saw it and I saw what was happening, and I saw like the BBC, and then I saw the Mandingo comments, and I said, you know what? That tracks, because that tracks from every time that I have watched wrestling and Vince McMahon was on there, and his interactions, all the weird and all the interactions that he's had, and then all of the gimmicks that he allowed. I was like, you know what? That tracks.
You don't even gotta be a big fan. You just, whenever there's a wild moment in the WWE that I've seen, he's usually in the center of it or like right there orchestrating shit.
Yep, I was like, that tracks. So
I was like,
now the Brock Lesnar part,
power guys.
I'm
not surprised about that.
I didn't see the Brock Lesnar shit though.
Part. I did not. The Brock Lesnar part was like, I said, whose name is that?
I feel like you also got to remember Brock Lesnar. Like you had The Rock and Stone Cold. Brock Lesnar has been Vince's guy since like 2013, 2014. So if you have so much power, if you have so much power as a performer,
I was like, cool.
Yeah, you can say, hey, you're either going to give me the belt or I'm going to walk away and you'll never see me again. If you're paying somebody $25 million a year for their contract, like you probably know him more than anybody else does, if I'm being honest.
Who knew some shit about you that nobody else knew.
Hello?
And if you remember, he said when all this stuff first started happening, last year, 2 years ago, when he was like, when Vince had first walked away,
he said,
yo, if he's gone, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody else ever said that. Undertaker didn't even say that. And I don't think
what did they say? What did they say Rock did? What the whole?
I don't think we can talk about this on.
Oh shit!
I will tell. Yes, it is. I will tell you in a text message. I will.
Yeah,
I will tell you.
Yeah,
if you want this video to potentially make money, we cannot go into that.
Shit,
I read
the
tell
you
afterwards, like when the show ends. So
if you read the Vince stuff, then
add
a +1.
Yeah.
So nigga, what? Oh my god.
Eddie was somebody's favorite. So whoever brought up Eddie,
Eddie Guerrero was always a good pick.
I fuck with Eddie when he started fucking with Ray, and I was like, yeah, bro, we beefing now. I'm sorry.
Oh, you've been beefing with Eddie for a long time because Ray's best matches in Halloween Havoc in 1998, bro. Like they was beefing then. So at what point did you mess with Eddie?
I fuck with Eddie like. I did not. Okay, I'll put it like this. He was neutral. Like I didn't hate the nigga. It wasn't until what was the fucking? What was the one? It was the
SummerSlam Dominic match.
Yeah, the Dominic match. Yeah, over the custody battle and shit. That's when I was like, as a bastard myself, I'm like, you gonna take your son from him? You gonna take your son?
Myself is crazy.
You gonna take your son? Oh, ain't no fucking way. Nah, fuck that. Fuck
I'm
Eddie.
glad y'all picked on that too.
I
when he
hope there's
said, "As a
somebody out
bastard
there that
myself," I
just
was
jumped
like,
onto the stream
As a
when he said
bastard
that.
myself is crazy.
You know what it is. That nigga be lurking. Jeffrey, you know my body. You know what
I know,
it
I
is.
do. I'm just imagining now. I'm just
You know
imagining
about it.
Charlie
Just know,
flipping
like when I
tables
clip
while
this
watching
up.
that match. Like,
Oh, bro, I was
when
like,
I clip this up, that's going to be the clip.
That's gonna be a clip. That has to be a
That's
clip.
gonna
that has to be
hey
as a
man,
bastard by a
my fault. That nigga know what it is.
You know what it is.
You know what it is.
So,
You know what it is. You know
as a
it's
bastard
That's
myself
crazy.
is crazy.
I did not see that line coming.
I had my granddaddy. I had a stepdaddy. My stepdad cool. My stepdad cool.
Let's
We're
move on to our
happy.
favorite matches.
I can't do this. Yeah.
Look,
So as
we
we get
we will
into
never talk Rey Mysterio.
All this
Hey,
toxic
you see
daddy
why I
talk.
was so because you can ask Jeff. I was so hurt that Dominic wasn't a luchador for real. I was like, I get he tall as fuck, but damn, I want him to be a luchador so bad. 'Cause I'm like, he got to be like his daddy. His daddy's daddy.
No, so first he comes to me when he gets back in wrestling, and he's like, "Hey, bro, can I ask you something?" I said, "Why?" He was like, "Why don't Dominic like his dad?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Why is Dominic Mysterio not fucking with his dad?" And I was like, trying to explain the whole storyline and everything, and Charles just like, "Nah, I still don't fuck with it. I'm still with Ray. I'm still with Ray."
I popped
I mean,
up.
that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm just like, cool. I'm
Everybody
like,
still mess with
like,
Ray.
this is last year or something. Like, they about to have a match. Like, it should be.
Because
good,
I tuned in and seen him as a tag team. I'm like, yeah, that's the way it should be. Yeah, you and your
and then
daddy.
he came back and they weren't. a tag team.
So you're not a fan of Jimmy and Jay beefing, are you?
Oh, I'm hurt. I'm so hurt.
I'm waiting
I'm
for
so
it.
hurt.
That's going to be a hell of a match at WrestleMania.
I still got the fucking.
Okay. Before we move on to the favorite matches, let me address this, Dan, because you said it's gonna be a hell of a match. It depends on what if they take away character and just let them go at it. Then
Agreed.
yes.
Agreed.
But if we're just going off of character, there is nothing that they have shown me to make me believe that Jimmy can ever beat Jay.
No, agreed.
Because Jimmy is now just like this comedy relief stooge for the bloodline that I still don't understand, because you kicked Roman first. And then you said, I'm doing what you should have done a long time ago.
Right.
I got you. And kicked him again. You the one that told me to quit the bloodline. You made me jump up the top rope and pin this bastard. And now we here, and then you kick me. And now you were begging.
You're trying to see what's
up.
up.
So with the story with that, if you remember, like they tried to explain it, I just didn't think it was that good of an explanation. But Jimmy said the reason why he turned on Jay because he was like, I saw that if
I didn't want you to
become like Roman. I was just like, but even then, like I feel like that's just like a lazy. I feel like they wanted a swerve because they're like, we can't have Roman get beaten, and we don't want Jay to lose clean. So they're like, we need a swerve, and that was just the worst swerve I think that they could have done.
Yeah, and I'm cool. Oh, that's a lie. I'm not cool, but I would much rather they stick with that story than to, hey Roman, look, I know that I kicked you in the face twice,
but forgive me.
And you know, I'm the reason why you got pinned for the first time in like 3.5 years. But can I still be at the table with y'all? Can I still kick it with y'all?
Can I still eat? Can
I come chill.
And then here's the thing. After all this, if you remember, there was a backstage segment between Jimmy and AJ where they was about to get into it, and Solo went and hit AJ and looked at Jimmy and said, "You out the bloodline when we say you out the bloodline." Then what was the previous 2 months about?
What was the whole Civil War? What was the whole Civil War match about then?
Listen,
I be thinking back, tearing up. I be trying to remember.
Wait, Chris, even remember back when Jay was trying to make peace. It was like, hey man, like we fought at Money in the Bank. I don't want to fight anymore. Like let's just go back to being a family. And Roman said no, and then they ended up attacking both of them. So like I agree. Like, what was the whole point of all that whole 3 months of them going back and forth? And showing,
what would have solved all this?
For them to be like, oh no, like you still in, like
What would have solved everything? It would have made everything just flow nice and clean. is if Cody would have won at WrestleMania 39.
No, yeah. So look, so when you were arguing with other guys, so if Cody won last year, 100%, I feel like this. I feel like we could have got Roman. I feel like we could have got Roman. You know, like the Roman having a identity crisis without the belt. Could have had the whole Civil War happen, and then you could have had somehow Roman going back to Cody, and then you could have Roman versus Cody too at this year's WrestleMania. I feel like that would have been just as good of a story, but
that wouldn't have to be at WrestleMania though,
huh?
That wouldn't have to be at WrestleMania. You could still have Rock versus
SummerSlam, but I feel like, and then you could have maybe had Rock versus Roman, and that would have made sense because like head of the table. But I just kind of like you. I feel like there was no point of The Rock coming in and Cody giving up his spot because you knew all throughout the year Cody's doing all of this so he could get back to Roman. So like it makes no sense for him to win the Royal Rumble and point at Roman just for him to give it up. And like I feel like the other guy was speaking on it from a business standpoint. Like if we're talking like business and money is business, yeah, like Rock versus Roman is probably going to make more money. Then that is going to bring in the casual fans. But look, no, don't worry. I'm on your team. Remember that. I feel like they're going to make more. They're going to make more money. Like if I'm being honest, because The Rock he's universally popular and known more so than Cody, and that's just truth. That's just true. If I go out on the street and I say, you know who Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, they'll be like, oh yeah, I know who he is. If I go out and say, you know who Cody Rhodes is, not many people.
Hell no.
That's just however,
I did not.
Yeah.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you, but I came back and heard that shit. I was like, okay, that's hard. I fuck with that. That's hard. That's hard.
His music hard.
I feel like me and you being fans who kind of like nothing towards Charlie, but like Charlie said, like he's a casual fan. Charlie's like, like I'll come in and watch it, but like I'm not following it super heavy. Yeah, like, I'm not following it super duper heavy. I feel like with us, it's like, hey, like long term wise, like Cody is your guy. Long term, Cody is going to be the guy that's like going to be carrying the WWE and doing all this. The Rock coming in, so you're gonna have The Rock come in. Cool, you guys are going to make a lot of money in that moment, but that does nothing long term. If Rock wins, that does nothing long term. If Roman wins, it's cool. It was a great match, but again, does nothing long term. And even when I think he was trying to make the argument like, oh man, like I've been wanting to see this match for years. It's like, yeah, but years ago there weren't any top guys. Like years ago, you needed a big match like Rock versus Roman. Now, like Cody Rhodes is arguably, and this might be blasphemous, so hopefully people see where I'm coming from. I honestly think like Roman Reigns versus Cody too is way bigger than Rock versus Roman. That's because I think they 100%. I think they waited too long to do that match. And then also, I felt like if they did Roman versus Cody this year, and then next year did Roman versus The Rock, I still think 100% it would still be good. And I feel like it would be even better. Just because like you let Cody finish his story, he wins a belt, he beats a big bad guy in the end, and then you get the next. But I just feel like they waited too long overall to do Rock versus Roman. I feel like they should have done that instead of Roman versus Brock, like back then in 2021.
I feel you. I do. But like I said, it just doesn't. Cody
makes no sense.
Again, it's real fresh. We don't know. They might do some type of swerve, and it's like, I got you. You thought it was gonna be this. But even if you do, like, why would you make us think this? And they've all but made it official, like on WWE.com.
Right.
It says like The Rock versus Roman Reigns. They're gonna have a face off at the press conference.
Yeah.
And so it's like I'm sorry. Rock versus Roman would be totally fine.
I got it.
I know you're good now. You're good now.
Oh, okay, my bad. Roman versus Rock would be great if the title was not a part of the picture.
Agreed.
That's the only problem. Because that title is there, now Roman is still holding it hostage. What is our end goal here? Because if the goal is to build a superstar that can eventually take the title off of Roman and give Roman a break, then we got Cody. That's not a problem. We got that.
But The Rock is going to be in WWE 10 years later from now. Like
The
he's
Rock is
ring
the
wrestling.
Rock is not going to hold that title for a month because if he
Right.
does, what's the purpose? You're on the board. Like it's not like you're like it's like Vince holding the championship again. Like unless you're gonna be there regularly to establish what you are as a character, why do you have our championship? Like you don't need to be here. And if you're Roman, is the goal to have you beat Bruno's record? Because now you got to wait 3 more years.
Right.
I don't. There's not enough people in WWE to keep seeing you beat, and you already ain't here enough. So what are we doing?
And then even people talking about they're like, oh well, Cody versus Seth is going to be a good match. Like no, it's going to be a great match if that's what they go. But at
It's
the
a
end of
number
the
2
day,
match.
Cody was built up for Roman. Like arguably, Cody was built up for Roman to defeat Roman.
We
he
saw
was
Cody versus Seth 3 times,
right.
and Cody won all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, I'm still out here. I'm gonna tear up. I'm remember my boys out there jumping out doing the hockey and shit before the entrances and shit. And I'm out here, now niggas beefing. They got black men fight each other on Black History Month. Black on black violence is crazy. That's crazy. Got 2 black brothers fight each other. It's a damn shame.
And wait a minute. Technically, they haven't fought each other this month.
They haven't had a match.
Yeah, not yet.
As soon as it happens,
Royal Rumble,
I'll give you a call as soon as it's on. As soon as it happens, I'm tagging you in the post. As soon as it happens.
They probably won't see each other again until March, which is around WrestleMania time.
This shit is crazy.
But back to like this Jimmy J, so I feel like that'll be a good match if they do it from a standpoint of big brother versus little brother. I feel like that's something that a lot of people can relate
twins,
to
though, so
because they do it off story wise, it's not going to be good.
How's that gonna work as twins? I know, like they like Jimmy likes to say,
I was Jimmy's the oldest one, and they did that. Remember, they kind of alluded to it when it looks like Jay was going to leave. So it was like it's always like follow your big brother, Jay. Like do what Jimmy says, Jay. He knows what's best for you, Jay. So I feel like they kind of go back to that a little bit, to where like I feel like that's more relatable because everybody has like that. Maybe not a big brother or sibling, but that one person that they kind of felt like they were never good enough or like could never quote unquote beat, because they can't do it off a story. Because the story we talked about, like the story with Jimmy and the bloodline and Jimmy and Jay, like the story's low key fucked. Like because they didn't do a good job of it. So I feel like the only way they could do that, they can use that storyline. Like, hey, I still remember you kicked me and cost me my match. But if they want to dig deeper, then do it from like a sibling standpoint. Siblings fight all the time. We see it all the time. I have an older brother. I fought with my older brother plenty of times. Charlie has a younger brother. He's fought with his younger brother plenty of times, I'm sure. We all been in that situation. So I feel like that can make their match more relatable in the sense where it's like, oh, these are 2 brothers fighting. Like we've seen it before. It all comes down to if you're younger, you're probably rooting for Jay. But if you're older and you've been in a situation like this where you're like, man, I got to beat my brother's ass because like he don't know no better. Like he don't know who you fucking with. Like, you're more so rooting for Jimmy.
I can't tell if that's a sneeze or a cough.
A little bit of both. Oh,
so it's definitely a cough. My cough. Everyone thinks my coughs are sneezes until you hear my sneeze. It's like, oh, okay. It's a stark difference.
Because you did it, and I was like, do I need to say bless you? And I was like, I don't know. If that was
you can say bless you regardless. I take all the blessings. It ain't got to be a specific thing. Yeah. So I feel what you're saying. I just don't think. I don't. Given the way they've built Jay alone, main event Jay Uso, and being in the main event picture. And Jimmy, like I said, just being this clown now, it just I don't like you can write it however you want to. I don't see how they have a story where it makes sense where Jimmy beats Jay.
I get
because
that.
ultimately it's everything now is based around the fall of the bloodline, and I think where we're going is some sort of transition into Solo, and.
Or Solo becomes
so everything has to fall. Everything has to fall in order for Solo to take everything over. And I would love to see it to where like we even exile Roman for how you've handled it, and all the elders come out and yada yada yada. Like the only reason why Solo is here, he ain't here for you. He here because we sent him here. And the second we say, all right, come on back home, you on your own, G, because you can't handle your own business, clearly.
I
So
agree.
at some point, all of that has to come crumbling down at Roman's feet. And Paul leaves him. So I'm saying 39, it would have been perfect. But anyway, let's move on.
They're not, and even 40 would have been this is perfect, or maybe better. But I agree with you. I'm a big believer. I feel like WrestleMania 39, Roman should have lost.
100%. What's the next thing? The matches?
Yes. So I'm gonna just
We've
run
been
down
on for 3 hours.
We have.
Yeah, I just noticed
so
Tapping shit
I'm gonna
right now.
I'm gonna run down the matches, and y'all can talk about them as you wish. So the first one is from.
Yeah.
Wait, was that yours?
It's the
That was
picture
Carly's.
that you chose.
Yeah, that that was a bad look.
I was like, we remember what Great Khali did to Ray, right? Like squeeze his ass like a melon. Like, yeah.
I just knew. I'm like, he about to find a way out of this shit. He about to get this. Ray about to find a way out. I was the whole time.
You
I'm
couldn't
like,
even
well,
see Ray's face,
bruh. Anyway, the second one.
The second one I saw was Mark Henry versus Big Show.
Yeah, I'm as a heavyweight. As a heavyweight dude myself, seeing two super heavyweights, whenever I see them break the ring, I'm like, yeah, bro, that's like power for real. Wow. So I thought that was the coolest shit ever when I saw them break the ring. I had never seen no shit like that before.
That's your third one.
And then, of course, this. I was a big Kane fan. When
Kane
first came out, boy, I didn't see him then. I saw like the Dane the Hell No fucking tag team him and Daniel Bryan had. And I was like,
jacked.
I was like, he was kind of weak then, but then I started playing the WWE games, and they would like show cutscenes and shit from like when Kane first came out. I'm like, oh, this nigga was a demon when he first came out. And again, I'm a huge horror fan, so I'm like, that whole aesthetic was fucking me. This fucking 7-foot demon that's just like scaring everybody, like starting fires and shit out of the rings. So Kane, yeah, I used to fuck with Kane heavy with the mask. Once that mask came off, I was like, okay, it's just kind of horny now.
Did you ever see Brock Lesnar versus Big Show when they broke the ring the first time?
I did not see that. I did not.
Yeah. So that was the first time that the ring imploded. And then years later, that's when Mark Henry, and it makes more sense when Mark Henry and Big Show did it because they both mad heavy. So it made more sense. But yeah, that and that's why I was wondering, like was it the finish that got you, or was it the match itself?
It was the finish. I mean, the match was cool. The match wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong, but it was like, for me, again, I had never seen no shit like that before in my life. I'm like, oh, they broke the fucking ring.
Did you see the part of the match where Big Show went to the top rope and did an elbow drop?
Yeah, I was like, he's about to murder this.
That was crazy. I remember.
I was like, yeah, he's finna kill you, bro.
400 pounds of elbow coming down
to your heart. You're gonna die.
But that Kofi chest
off the wall.
The next three are Chris's.
All right.
I ain't mad at that.
This one.
Can't be mad at that either.
And this one.
End of an era match was the culmination to a 4-year story.
Mm-hmm.
How they told the story for all those 4 years was probably the best example of long-term storytelling besides Kane Undertaker to me. Just because you tied in 3 individuals' careers into the streak story. And that made the streak actually mean something from an entertainment standpoint instead of it just being a match. And you felt bad for the Undertaker. That was the thing that really caught me, because normally it's like, oh yeah, the streak, but I know Taker's gonna win. But this time it was, it's the streak, but at 27, Triple H beat the dog shit out of Undertaker. I don't know if he can go through that again. And we got Triple H's best friend in the ring, and he's already pissed because you retired me 2 years earlier. But I'm kind of upset at Triple H because you said that I'm gonna do what you could never do. So there's that whole competitiveness there. And when they got in there, but at the same time, we're doing this in a match that was somewhat built around the Undertaker's whole thing. So there was a lot of different like little micro elements to the stories that were being told, and that near fall, uh, the sweet chin music into the pedigree after everything that Taker had already been going through. That near fall, that gave me goosebumps. Like there's very few times in wrestling where I go, oh, that was one of them moments. Like I literally like, oh shit. And Shawn is just losing his mind in the corner. And I'm like, dude, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen from a story perspective. And if you just follow Shawn, when Triple H had the same exact look on his face that Shawn did when he knew it was over. And he was just and tried to hit him with the sledgehammer. And you look at Shawn, and Shawn's not even facing him. He's just like this. Because he
One
knew.
thing, like that match, I talked about earlier, and you pretty much said everything about that match that was that needed to be said. One thing that like I like looking at when you said Triple H beat like the dog shit out of him at WrestleMania 27. One thing that like I liked about that match is like again like we all knew like Triple H was like the greatest, like like he always talked about it. Of course, we kind of always rolled our eyes. But when you had like Triple H going there and just again like beat the shit out of the Undertaker, hit him with a tombstone power driver in the match, like hit Undertaker with his own finishing move, and that one like it was kind of like Triple H pretty much being like, yeah, like I'm that guy. Like y'all keep on forgetting, but like I'm a 13-time WWE champion. Like I've been running this business for a minute. Like all these people have been taking off time, I haven't. But then with Undertaker, it kind of showed like, hey, like I'm more than just a streak. Like I'm still the American badass. I'm still the phenom. I'm still the dead man. Like, like I'll still take your soul. Cause at the end of the day, he still, he got the shit beat out of him, but he still beat Triple H in that match. And we can kind of argue like when it comes to like a fight perspective, no one really talks about the beating as much. People really only talk about the winner. I kind of feel like that was a nice touch. But definitely with those matches, it was like you said, it was the culmination of a 4-year story, and like it was probably done that's probably the best wrestling story hands down, in my opinion. Maybe like I'm too young and I'm not thinking about some wrestling story from 1978 or 1982, but like for 24-year-old Jeff, that was like definitely, I remember being a kid and just watching a damn near hour-long match and like not knowing why I liked it. It was slow as hell, but like just being entertained throughout the whole match. But yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's anything else to add to the end of an era.
I agree.
Going into the Wrestle Kingdom match, Omega Ospreay won. This match, I already been a Kenny fan. I wasn't as into Ospreay because at the time I thought Ospreay was just like another Matt Sydal or Ricochet. Nothing wrong with those individuals, but I didn't know that he had become what he had become.
Like you thought he was still all substance, kind of.
Yeah, I didn't know that he become like such a good wrestler. I was like, oh, he's just a high flyer. But going back and doing my homework and then going into this match, I'm like, wow. And at this time, Kenny had not been in New Japan for a while. And so he had come to America in AEW and become like this watered down version of himself. So it was him, Kenny back in New Japan. He did the one winged angel entrance. I'm like, okay, this is anime Kenny. This is the Kenny that's like he finna go crazy. And then you got Will. I mean, I didn't have an appreciation for Elevated, his music, until that match. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense because he's the aerial assassin. Okay, all this stuff is tied together. And they went in there and they put on the best match. In my opinion, it was the best match since Omega Okada. And so
which Omega Okada match? Sorry, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
talking the one where Kenny won? Are we talking the Dominion? And again, like
I don't remember exactly which one it was, but the one where they were both laying on the bottom rope and they were just spent. And they looked at each other, and they just kind of started just like slowly fighting again. That match, that match made my arms bump up. But seeing Kenny kind of go back to that old form of himself, and when he knocked Will's head through the table, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that Japanese wrestling was like real. Like you can die here. So that just, and it set up a story for Omega Ospreay 2 that
at Forbidden Door, at AEW Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
That was just as good, if not better, arguably.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would take away from that one is Don Callis shouldn't have been involved. They just kind of messed it up. But when Ospreay hit that one winged angel and Kenny kicked out at one, I think everybody in the arena like lost air in their lungs. They're like, "Oh my god!"
So even for me, even I watched that one. I remember I was like, I didn't know if I want to watch, like, pay $50 for a pay-per-view. But when I saw it was Okada versus Danielson, and then Kenny, versus Ospreay 2, like same thing.
As a wrestling fan, you have to.
Exactly. And every moment you were talking about when you said when he kicked out the one winged angel at one and everybody's like went crazy, I was going crazy at home. It was like damn near 12 in the morning, but I was like going super crazy. When he hit the Tiger Driver, I don't know if you remember when he did that one.
He almost killed him.
He landed on
he let him go.
I remember I saw that and I was just like, like he didn't drop him on his head like that, like camera angles, and then they showed a zoom up, and I was like, oh, like, and like again, I was like, I forgot, like Japanese wrestling is a whole different like type of wrestling. Like, like I showed you guys like my favorite finisher on that list, and like completely forgot. Like, oh yeah, like they really do be dumping dudes on their heads, like in Japan, like
yeah.
But no, but
career versus streak again is a part of that whole story. But this one, it had obviously more stakes. I think I would say controversy here, but the first Shawn Taker match was probably the better match. I think the better story, and I'm a story guy when it comes to my wrestling. I think the better story was streak versus career. Because you look at Shawn, who was like, he literally said, if I can't beat you, I have no career. And Taker's whole thing is, there ain't a person that's breathing that can take this, that can beat me at WrestleMania. Screw you, Brock. But
yeah, one thing on top of that too, I think like sometimes when we're wrestling fans, you can kind of see like the ending coming from a mile away. So like Cody versus Roman 2 happened, you're like, Cody's going to win. Like Cody has to win. But like with this story, when there was like Shawn Michaels' career versus Undertaker's streak, you're like, Shawn is old, but like he's still doing bad.
He can still go.
He can still go. So you're just like, like he could beat Undertaker's streak and then like retire like a couple years later. But
and we would be okay with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like I feel like that was something that I remember like when I first watched it, like that played into where I was like, like Shawn might be retiring because like he's kind of getting up there, but like him and Undertaker are the same age and like they both can still go at it. So it kind of makes it to where like you're actively watching for like any signs or any hints to be like, oh no, like he just hit him with that move. Like Shawn is like, like dead on the floor, like he's losing. Like it kind of keeps you interested. And kind of like you saying you being a story person, like I'm the same way when it comes to wrestling. I like all styles of wrestling, but favorite one is probably when like a story is told. Like Kofi Mania, career versus streak, the Hell in a Cell, Triple H versus Undertaker one. I kind of feel like that's when wrestling is at its best, when like it's telling a story and you either know what the story is and that makes it better, or you have no idea that like they're telling a story, but then you go back and watch it, you're like, oh, like there's some things I didn't pick up on like during this match, or like there's some things that this wrestler does that they don't normally do, or like Shawn Michaels freaking out in the Triple H versus Undertaker match. Like as a little kid, you don't really think nothing of it, but like watching it as an adult, you're like, that makes it so much better because like, it builds up Undertaker as like unbeatable. But yeah, definitely.
I remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Who is it?
I'm sick of him.
Charlie?
Charlie.
What was that?
That was
Charlie
the soundboard.
Soundboard.
I don't remember that. God damn. I thought that was my phone, so I was like looking around, like, trying not to give it away. But I was like, did I actually press play on something?
Oh man.
No, it's Charlie.
Jackass.
Are we going to the next three? I'm sorry.
See, spoiler. Next 3.
Oh, yeah. These are from
So this is,
headbutt match.
No, so you remember the dude that was dropping dudes on their heads?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's them. But this is Kenta Kobashi versus Dr. Death Steve Williams. I'm not really going to go. We don't have like footage, so I'm not really going to go deep into it. But this is literally just 2 men beating the shit out of each other and dropping each other.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
It's like the most. It's like UFC. So like the best way to describe Japanese pro wrestling, like Charlie.
I was looking for that one.
Did you do the Pornhub one?
I have it too, and I was looking for it.
Jesus Christ.
Biggie made this up. It's a thing, bro.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the match. Big meaty men slapping
meat is crazy.
That's the match. If you can go back and watch highlights. Charlie, I'll send you highlights of the match.
I don't know if I want to see that kind of highlight.
Big barrel chested niggas going at it. 2 big barrel chested niggas going at it. That's pretty much
okay.
All right. No more Pornhub jingles.
You sure?
Shut up. Go to match 2. Yep. So this is I think this is the one you were talking about, Chris. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. But this is the first encounter. But yeah, Kenny versus Okada. I think this. Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom. This was probably the match that really got me into Japanese wrestling. Because again, like I was like I knew WWE. I knew a very little about TNA. So like when people are like, hey, like gotta watch like Kenny Omega versus Okada. Like these are 2 dudes going at it, like athletic as hell. And I remember like just going in and watching it and just seeing the match that made me get really big into Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and so then even AEW when they started AEW back in 2019. So definitely that match arguably changed the landscape of New Japan Pro Wrestling to where they gained a lot more fans with that match, I think. All right. Then I totally forget what my third match was. Oh, yeah, Kofi Mania.
Okay.
You gotta put in Kofi Mania, baby.
Guys, too.
The fourth black dude to win the title, which is crazy. I think Todd saying that.
What, how many years? Like almost 70 almost?
Yeah. So like I think the list is Ron Simmons, who's Charlie. I don't know if you know Ron Simmons, first black person to win a world heavyweight title. He's from Warner Robins.
I heard about him.
Georgia. Yeah, he's from Warner Robins, Georgia, which is great. He went to Warner Robins High School. Then I think the second one is The Rock because Rock's half black. And then you got
he black. Don't you said it right the first time.
And then
it's Black History Month, bro. Come on now.
King Booker, you got Booker T, aka King Booker. Then you got Kofi. After Kofi, you got Bobby Lashley, and then you got Biggie as number 6. So yeah, so 2/3 of the New Day are on that list, which is crazy because like when you think about their gimmick when they first started out, I don't think anybody saw this ending.
Xavier Woods is the one to beat Roman.
Say it again.
Xavier Woods is the one to beat Roman.
I ain't gonna be mad at it. I'm a huge New Day fan. Like I listen to their podcast. I have their shirts. Like I tried the Bootio cereal. I had a Bootio poster in my room.
No, you did not try the Bootio cereal, nigga.
Oh God, it was delicious.
It
was delicious. It was a balanced breakfast. It was delicious.
I bet it was.
Let me say this slow. Booty O's.
Nigga, I know what I said. I know what I said. I'm a grown ass man. I am.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying there's other people watching. I don't want them to think you said booty hole cereal. What are we talking about? What are we talking about again?
I thought you were trying to go after me too. I was like, Chris, like we both hardcore wrestling fans in here. Like,
no, I knew exactly what you was talking about.
I know what you was talking about. I was fucking with him. Oh,
I just remember I saw that shit as as a kid, and not as a kid, I'm not that young. I saw it as a teenager. My mom just like, who the hell would buy Bootios? And I just looked at my mom like,
I didn't
you
know
are
it was a real cereal.
right here.
I didn't know
I thought it was a joke for the longest time, and then I saw it at Walmart, and I was like, "Oh, all right."
But look, y'all didn't think it was a joke when they came out of the Bootios box in that Dragon Ball Z's Super Saiyan armor at WrestleMania.
That was hard. But I didn't know they actually made
No, right. I didn't
a
know it was
purchasable
real
box of
cereal.
this
Yeah,
cereal.
it's that
Right. I didn't know it was real cereal.
So I
thought
didn't
it was
buy it, but a friend of mine knew I was a wrestling fan, and he bought me that box just like as like I don't know if it was a gag gift, but he was like, "Hey man, like I saw this and I thought about you, so I went ahead and bought it." He gave me that, and I'm not and like
Bootios, you thought about me, bro?
Thought about eating butt. You said, "Hey man, my boy Jeff."
Hey, bro,
man.
I actually opened up your iPhone and you weren't in private browsing, and you know what you about. So I
doing the berries, my boy. I ain't gonna hold you though. When when Big E first dropped on the scene, I was like, at some point he got to be a champion at some point. He's
the second NXT champion. I just knew he was gonna be a top guy.
When they had him and AJ Lee, like, were they together for real, or were
they were together? Oh, he's talking about when he hit her in the chest.
Yeah,
knocked the chest.
I was like, no, he didn't fucking hit AJ.
Well, Charlie, you know who AJ Lee is married to, right? I don't know if you know this, but you know who she's married to. CM Punk.
Is she married to CM Punk?
Really?
CM Punk's wife. Yeah. They've been married for years, like since.
I was wondering what happened to her. I was like, "Dang, where is she? What happened to her?"
So she apparently she has a bunch of injuries, which like she's been wrestling for a minute. Like, everybody's body is different when it comes to wrestling. Not everybody can be like Undertaker and wrestle for like damn near 4 decades. Like you know,
Undertaker shouldn't have did that shit, to be honest.
No, yeah, but she had just a bunch of injuries, and like instead of kind of just working through those injuries, she was like, "Yeah, like I did good. I have a good career. Like I'm out of here."
I don't blame her shit.
I don't blame her either. Like,
I don't either. Goddamn hell.
Hey,
I don't blame her either.
She was
What did you say? I don't either. Goddamn hell. What did you say?
She got countries hell.
Shut up.
What did you say? Wait,
I said I don't either. Damn hell.
Yeah, bro.
Listen.
Look, drop me on my neck a couple of times. I'll probably wrap it up by the end of the day, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Hey, AJ was like that though, man. That was
I'm
this is Black History Month talk. I ain't gonna go into too much. It's Black History Month, but man, AJ was like that. Boy. Hey,
you better talk about Jay Cargill. You better.
Oh, I already talked about Jay. Hey, Jay know how.
Are you feeling Jay?
Till it stink. Till it stink.
Man.
I'm gonna just throw Maurice.
He got into Jade when he saw her come out in that Storm cosplay at AEW. He said, "Hey, what her name is? I was like, "Damn right."
Did you see the She-Hulk one?
Yeah, the She-Hulk.
I didn't see the She-Hulk one.
The She-Hulk one hard.
Yeah,
to the room stank.
You can say whatever you want about her wrestling character, but her
room stank.
Oh man,
no. I know what that means.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Charlie, hold on. Everybody, leave the chat real quick. Charlie, you're making us look hella bad right now.
I ain't gonna feel bad about this. Black History Month. I'm gonna be bad about stepping over a black queen.
With you in the beginning of this podcast, I said we were friends.
Hey, cat's out the bag.
Yo, put a banner at the bottom that says "I don't condone this man's actions." Do something.
You mad at me for one of the black women, huh? My brother.
You being outlandish for no reason, boy.
I wonder why you had a problem with it. That's crazy coming from you.
Hey, yo, all right. We're gonna wrap this up now. We're gonna wrap this up. All right. This ain't even my show, but I'm gonna wrap it up. All right.
I would just throw Jason Reigns up here. He had this one.
Nice.
Actually, I don't even know if that's the one that he just said Undertaker versus HBK. I don't know.
Either one is good.
That's an HBK match. That's crazy.
Another good
2007. Yeah.
This man is an HBK fanatic, ain't he?
Yeah. And this is them versus the Legacy. Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy. We got that John Cena versus Shawn Michaels match on free 99 TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a great match.
And then mine, I just really quickly, mine was The End of an Era was my first one.
Hey.
And then this one, WrestleMania 17.
Yeah, goated.
Yep, I can dig it. One of the best WrestleMania, arguably the best WrestleMania.
Yeah, and then the Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho ladder match from 2001.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Dude, when they were tag team champions and they had that TLC match on SmackDown.
Oh, I know
remember that?
Where
Oh
he did
man,
the
I
headbutt
was
through
like,
the table, the flying headbutt through the table.
Yes.
That one
I'm
was-
like, I'm like, Mom, did you buy this? There's no way this is on regular TV.
Yeah, the crazy moment was when this is involving your boy Jeff Charlie. Bubba Ray Dudley ends up going to the top of the ladder with Jeff, hooks him for a suplex and suplexes him like off the ladder. And if I want to say, I don't think it was through a table, but it was from the top of the ladder to the bottom of the ring. And like
They died.
yeah, dude, like that one was mad.
Definitely.
You had Chris Jericho hitting a walls of Jericho on top of a ladder, which is crazy. Like, you know,
That boy
but
Jeff got right up and said, "I'm good."
and then you had one of my favorite wrestling sayings that get the tables by Bubba Ray and Diva. That's one of my favorite wrestling sayings ever when they do that. That was like the biggest one that I remember. Like, yeah, hitting the dance. I don't even know what the hell that was that he did. Like he used to
my brother,
randomly the matches do this number. And again,
that was the testify.
Pain as hell.
He's as hell. You know, he was a pastor or something like that.
He did the Reverend Devon.
Yeah, he was like really religious, and like that was his. He did that. Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah,
doom,
it was
doom,
like
doom.
Biggie with his preacher voice. Like that's like he was like, oh, I come from a very religious household. Like I know how to do a preacher voice. Like
that preacher voice is like, oh, perfect.
Atlanta, Georgia. Don't you be sour.
Be sour. Clap for your world famous 12-time champs.
And feel the
This dude.
I love this. This is
Give him
funny.
all the belts. Give him all the belts.
Listen,
He deserves them.
when I clip this up and just like throw it on TikTok, just know.
Question is, you gonna clip it up though? You gotta.
I am gonna clip it up. Actually, I am gonna clip it up.
I believe when I see it.
I'm definitely clipping up the part where.
I hope you wrote down that part.
The bastard
fatherless.
comment.
That's crazy.
That's gonna be the.
I'm vulnerable with y'all for a second, and you just gonna make jokes about it. That's crazy.
You shouldn't have brought it up the way you
That's
did.
crazy, man.
That was
That's
out
crazy.
of left field.
My boy said, "Hey, I was vulnerable with y'all. Like I let y'all in on something." This is
Right. I let them in.
It was like that one meme. It was like that one meme on Instagram where he's like, "I'm gonna be honest, man. I just be crying sometimes," and then all the other people in the interview start laughing. That's what we did.
And this nigga know me. He know how I make me feel. That's crazy.
Charlie, but look,
This nigga know me. That's crazy.
It was how you said, as a bastard myself.
Charlie, you know I'm a laugh. Look, I'm not. You know I'm a laugh. This is how you.
You gonna be one of my best friends, and this nigga just.
You know, Charlie, you said
laughed at
that,
my pain. That's crazy.
Look, but that's what hurt me more because I knew you were expecting me in your corner to be like, oh man, like yeah, like you're right. But I just could not hold that shit together. You said it. You said it, and you just expected nobody to catch that, and I just happened to catch it. And I
that nigga was like, "Ha, you ain't got no daddy. Ha, I got my daddy in my life."
No, look, if they didn't crack, if Chris and Kaori didn't crack, I would have been okay. I would have just been like, okay,
I catch everything, bro. Like,
but the minute they started, their face started cracking up. I was like, nope. Like,
listen, because I've heard him say that before, and I never paid any attention. And he just as a bastard myself.
Hey, that nigga gave me material, boy.
I just said it. And I was just like, that's crazy. Like,
no, look.
He said, wait. He gave me material. It's even crazier.
No, it's between that and a conversation we were having about horror movies. And one of our friends was trying to describe the horror movie. The fucking movie is called Talk to Me.
Oh.
And he was like, what's that movie? Hold My Hand with the main black girl?
I was like,
what? What movie are you asking about?
He was talking like a black mother that you trying to ask for a present on Christmas. And she'll never know the name of it for real. She'll dance around the name. That's what that thing was
then he just goes, the one where they can possess at a party for fun.
Pokemon.
He was like the one where they get possessed at the party for fun. I was like,
that's like when your mom. That's like when your mom bought you the NBA Live game.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, 2K.
It was like 2016. I asked my grandma for 2K16 for Christmas. My grandma gave me NBA Live 16.
I
So
remember.
I just remember this man leaving high school. I'm just like dapping him up. I'm like, man, what you gonna be doing over Christmas break? He's like, nah, man, I'm gonna be fully in 2K. Like I'm gonna be obsessed with that game. I'm playing it all the time. I just remember coming back and seeing this man with a frown on his face. And I was like, you got the NBA game, right? He's like, I did get an NBA game. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, how's 2K? He's like, I didn't say 2K.
Nigga, I had to wait till my birthday 2 months later to be like to get 2K for real. I was like, Mom, never let grandma get a present for me again, bro.
Wait, he
So
talking
never-
about
I never
video
understood
game
how it was that
episode,
difficult,
please.
bro.
And then it was
Get a
somebody who was
picture.
like, why don't you just tell her that? And I was like, you can't do that. Like, you just gotta. He'll
You
get
can't
it.
sound ungrateful, bro. You got to play that shit.
He'll get
I
that
played
game in
it.
the summer. He'll get that game in the summer.
I had to take a picture of it, write down the exact name, and she had to send me a picture of it when she got to the store to make sure she still didn't get the wrong one.
Now you
The
giving
fact
your
that
grandma
grandma can use a smartphone and send pictures.
authentication, the Google authentication. Does the cover look like this? It's this man on the cover.
I would say does
Oh,
it have
shit.
this player on it?
If not, put that shit back.
She was like, "This what you wanted?" I was like, "Yeah, grandma, thank you. I appreciate it."
That's why I never asked my parents to buy me any wrestling games.
See, I don't like that we
Give me
raise
the
our
money.
children
I
to
said, give me the
be
money. I'll make
liars
sure.
and call it gratitude.
Bruh.
No, yeah, no,
Granted, now I will say
say
sometimes I got me to some good shit. My granddad was the fucking bargain bin champion. That nigga would go to GameStop and buy all the like the dollar bottom bin games in there and just give it to us. So I got to play a lot of different shit for the free ski damn near. Well, not damn near, but for the free ski because that was Christmas present. But the one I wanted, couldn't get
Well,
it.
Charlie, my favorite gift is those red socks. You remember those red Nike socks? I got on my birthday.
Oh, that was funny.
they were the socks you asked your mom for.
Yeah, was it the elite socks? Is that what it was? That was the era. I wanted elite socks so bad. My mom was like, "No, niggas, not paying $20 for a pair."
And then he gonna get them. I'm crying.
Well, right, he got them.
I didn't ask for them. She just got me a present. She was like, Charlie was like, "Can you get my friend a present? Like it's his birthday. I'm going over to his house." And I just open up. And I'm like, "Oh, cool socks, like dope." And you just see Charlie just like.
I think see, my mom. I think I fucked up at something at the crib, and she wanted to get me back for real.
I'm looking at Charlie, and I'm just like, "Oh man, like what's wrong? Like you good?" And Charlie's just like, "Those were the fucking socks I wanted." Like
I'm fucking.
I was like, "You can have them," and he was like, "Nah, man, like I can't just take your gift." I'm like, "You can." Like I don't get the point with these socks, but
my mom was different, bro. She is a diabolical fucking mastermind.
We love Charlie's mom. We love.
Yeah, we do. We do.
She never did me dirty. She never did me dirty.
Just Charlie as a bastard himself.
Nigga. It's her fault. No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
Oh my
man,
god.
I'm a fucking.
You know what? Listen. Thank you guys.
That's a perfect note to end it on.
We're going to be coming back for a present wrestling conversation. Not next week, but probably like in March when I get to it. I'll let you.
I'm gonna get a phone call. I'm gonna get a phone call so fast. Wait till after taxes. She's supposed to be helping me with my taxes, nigga. Don't put this shit on
follow me. Don't follow me. I ain't got no. Don't put my page down. I'm not getting responses about this shit.
My bestie with his Final Flash Pro photography.
Hey.
He did my cosplay photography when I was down at Dragon Con, and it was fucking amazing.
Hey. Are you in Georgia?
All of it. He's in Tennessee.
Well, I'm in Tennessee, but I live in Ringo, so it's
technically Georgia.
Are you coming to MomoCon this year?
I don't really be going to cons for real, but
it's the one to go to.
I don't either.
It's not too big. It's not too small.
I'm gonna say this on camera, on live, and it's also going to be on YouTube, so everybody can hear me say it. You know, I have two witnesses. Now, to my best friend, whom I love dearly, my boss, Jacob, has offered to pay for you to be my cosplay photographer when I go to cons, and you would just need to bring money for food.
Do it, nigga. But take that back.
I mean, that's we gotta discuss like numbers. Like you can't. It can't be just that. Like we gotta discuss stuff. It sounds like a great idea though.
What do you mean?
Keep
He
riding the
said
shoulder.
if you need, he said if you need to fly, then he would get the tickets, and if we were playing for the Airbnb because it's probably where we'd be doing anything
Your
anyway.
boss is
Be
lit.
there,
Right?
and yeah. And if you have to drive, like for MomoCon or Dragon Con or Atlanta Anime Weekend, money for gas.
Shit.
Okay, so I'll hit you up. We can talk about this, get some contracts drawn up, and we can go from there. You know, I ain't just gonna be like, oh hell, you ain't. No, that ain't how it's business, man.
But I had to say that because he's asked me 1,001 times if I have, because he saw my pictures that he did, and he's like, "Do you have a photographer yet?" I was like, "The only person that I ever actually want to do it is my best friend." He was like, "Well, tell him this and see if he'll do it." And I'm like, "Okay." I mean, I
need
can
to shit
ask.
on
All I
myself
can do is
bad.
ask. But this is his page for, go get your photos done by my best friend because he does amazing work.
If you come down,
Well, thank you.
If you come down, I may have to hire you for a couple pictures, low key. If you come down,
When is
MomoCon is in May.
It's in May, yeah.
Okay. Where is it?
I think
It's in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Downtown Atlanta.
Word.
And
Fuck
this
them
is Charlie.
That is hard.
Hey man, I paid good money for that art, and that was worth every penny. But yeah, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. We talking about Twitch. I made Nick's Twitch because they don't like black folks for real. They might go full time on YouTube for real. And then you can find me there. And then the Then Out podcast is where most of my content has been at. Me and my homeboys have been working on this channel for the last 2 years. We've had interviews with different comic book creators, from people from big names from DC, Marvel, some animators here and there, and just some amazing people all around. And then we make great content ourselves. It's my brainchild. So we are on the road to 1,000. Well, 500 for now, then 1,000 right after that, obviously.
Oh, I want to say something real quick. I'm gonna put this. This is a exclusive. We're going back and forth with it, and I think I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it. My podcast, my professional wrestling podcast, will be coming out. FPW, Flash Pro Wrestling. So I will let you guys know when it's coming out, and make sure you guys give it a listen. It'll kind of be pretty much the same setup as this. A lot of it be me giving my thoughts about wrestling and how I see the landscape of everything going. I will have guests from time to time. But if you've enjoyed my commentary and my thought process during this, then you will enjoy my podcast. So be on the lookout for that. Again, it's gonna be called Flash Pro Wrestling, or FPW.
Yeah, hey, I'm looking out for that.
Yeah,
I need wrestling podcasts to get into, especially since my friend here stopped on his shit, to keep me up to date on shit as I'm watching it and whatnot.
Hey, you might be a guest one day, big dog. We might can.
Get him in there. Then we got the One Piece Alliance from Jew. I'll always share his stuff.
Jew Hefner.
He knows I don't like One Piece, but I'll do that for him. And then you can also find me and Charlie sometimes on Tappin' No Cappin'. Tappin' No Cappin'. If you're a nerd and you've seen it, and what's your opinion with the wrong spelled "you're" still on this picture, but it's okay. And then of course, if you haven't joined the Nerd on the Street, what is this Facebook group, please do, because we're trying to get a lot more active in there. And you can also follow us, Nerd on the Street for Life, on Instagram, and our podcast on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Samsung, Google, and it'll be coming soon to iHeartRadio and Pandora. And then Charlie and I both do things for Blurred. I write articles for them for, sometimes. Got a couple more that'll be coming out. And then, of course, I have the Blurred Comic History on the Blurred YouTube channel, the Blurred Gaming and Lifestyle YouTube channel. I just did Livewire, and then we have another one that'll be coming soon. So
Tombstone drops tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yay, Tombstone. And then, of course, last but not least, you can do or go on YouTube to the Comics Doctor and come to the doctor's office to get your proper diagnosis and prognosis in all things comic books and comic book characters.
They're gonna plug your audio story.
My audio story, Dead Leaves, is on the Nerd on the Street
I don't know why
YouTube
you
channel.
acting like that's not fire. Like,
Because because it's on the Nerd on the Street YouTube channel. So if you want to go on there, there is a story, an audio story called Dead Leaves. It's going to be part of a book that I'm writing or the book that I'm about to publish. It's an anthology for horror stories that'll be finished before my birthday in March. I am determined. We'll see. But I am determined to get it published before my birthday. So my birthday is March 18th. So, it'll probably be published March 17th at 11:59. But that is so it for today. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Chris and Des. Charlie's not really a guest anymore.
Okay. Never mind.
And we will see you guys next time on Nerd on the Street.